as Israel ramps up its counter-offensive against Hamas, with all the brutal force at its command, the death toll continues to mount for both Israel and Palestine. Israel has never suffered a single-day loss of this scale, 900 Israelis at the very least. But the country is leaving no stone unturned to avenge this surprise attack by Hamas on Saturday morning. India Today's Gaurav Sawant is on the front lines of Gaza to show us how Israel is executing this counterattack.
The fields right behind me are full, not of crops, but of tanks and armored personnel carriers of the Israeli Defense Forces. Their resources are all being put in place to carry out that major assault should there be a need here in southern part of Israel, the Gaza Strip not far from where we are. The breach at multiple locations in the Gaza Strip, you already have Israeli tanks that have been deployed there to ensure that Hamas fighters and terrorists cannot come in there from there once again. While there are some troops deployed there, other troops are clearing whatever pockets of resistance of those terrorists remain inside Israel. And then these forces, they are here now in big numbers. Now to carry out the assault, you have the main assault body that's behind me. Then you have the logistics camp that's also not far from here. Food, fuel, resources, other supplies, all of them being put together in place. This is an indication that Israel is prepared for a long haul. Also, just a moment ago, you heard the Iron Dome system go up behind us, which means from Gaza Strip, the Hamas terrorists are still launching some rockets, but they're not in a position to carry out major strikes anymore because the number of rocket attacks, we are told, are down by less than half compared to yesterday and the day before that. This is an indication that Israel has successfully taken out most of the threat, but some threat remains. You can hear the fighters in the sky, you can hear the Iron Dome system take out any incoming threat. You also hear the drones that are constantly in the skies, keeping a hawk eye on every development across the fence. In Gaza, there have been massive assaults that have been carried out, and this perhaps is a trailer of what is to come in the days and weeks ahead. Gaurav Sawant in Sderot, near the Gaza Strip in southern Israel, for India Today.
India Today's Ashutosh Mishra is also on the war front and in places where violence has erupted, where things are affected. He travelled from Ashkelon near Gaza to Jerusalem, one of the biggest cities. Here's his ground report.
Now the Hamas is also doing precision attacks, not just random rockets, as they know. They have seen the vulnerability of the Iron Dome, the air defense system of Israel. In fact, we have also been advised by the police personnel, since this area also dominated by the residents of the Arab countries. So they say because of this conflict situation, let me turn the camera, security apparatus, and that will give you another idea that what sorts of not just Gaza. Many believe that Sderot is one of the areas, Sderot, which remains the border between Gaza and the Israel territory. So most likely there are the bunkers that were made, the shelter, those were made for the people. That could have been potentially used by these organizations, these terror outfits, where they are hiding. But it is also believed that many in a hostage-like situation, if you want advantage, you also take them along to your safe territory in case of there is a negotiation required. I'm here in Jerusalem at the ground zero, and these are the measures at every point and check. There are heavily armed police personnel guarding and in fact checking every vehicle. Remember, Jerusalem also remains the area where you have a mixed population, both Jews and also Arabs, Arabian residents living. So that also makes it vulnerable. So the frisking, checking, everything, that remains very grim at every point. In fact, my passport was just also checked because they are also checking upon the journalists who are coming from the Middle East nation. So that explains the furious situation as we go further in the town. Of course, this is being Monday, and usually peak time of the traffic. Mostly it looks deserted, not many people out on the road. In fact, even yesterday several rockets were fired, and there are a few places just in the outskirt of the Jerusalem where the rockets were fired, but the defense system of Israel quite responded. But here even the Jerusalem is coming under the target, and that's where the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the iconic Jerusalem's identity, that's Al-Aqsa Mosque. We are en route to that place, and here all you see barely few people because the situation remains tame. Only heavily, security arrangements that have been made. So via the Damascus gate, we are en route to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and this is the outer boundary of that particular area. So at this remains situation, there is a heavy deployment even of the reserve forces, and they are keeping a very close check on the people, those who are visiting here. This is the precaution measure. In fact, all the railway stations and the tram stations, those all bunkers and everything that have been put, I can see security deployment here. They're requesting it not to place the camera. So there you see all these heavily guarded police personals. This has remained a very challenging job for at this moment during this crisis of time. India today is at ground zero in Israel, and I am here in Jerusalem. And right behind me, you see the historic and iconic Al-Aqsa Mosque. And even the Jerusalem is not spared by Hamas group terror organization. Even Jerusalem on Monday, several rockets were fired, and there you see, the footfall at the mosque in these areas has drastically reduced, as I'm told by the locals, that the footfall is really reduced. The markets, the old city markets, which are usually, fully crowded, are now been totally looking deserted, as the tourist outflow has reduced because of the tension in Israel, and all you see is the deserted look of the Al-Aqsa Mosque here and even the old city in Jerusalem at ground zero. This is Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.